Oh, how I love my 841. Oh, man. You guys saw how we restored this thing, last winter. What we're gonna show you now is what we do to put a tractor like this away for the winter. Now, we're working on other tractors inside our garages and our shops, so we're gonna have to store this one outside, and we're gonna keep it under a lean-to. And we're going to show you what you should do to take care of yours. And you see we got all kinds of tractors sitting around, and this is what we do. I'm going to take you through everything that I recommend to do to a tractor if you're going to store it for the winter. And when I say store it for the winter, I'm talking about we're in Michigan right here. We got winter for 4 to 5 months. So we want to make sure that we do everything that we're supposed to do. We're not going to actually tear everything apart to do that right now. I'm actually going to take it in the shop to do it, but I'm going to point out all the things that we do. You want to take your power steering, open that up, and check and make sure you don't have any condensation in there. Then you want to open up your hood, radiator right here. You want to check that antifreeze in that radiator and make sure that it's good. I'm going to say in Michigan, you want to make sure that it's good for at least 25 below, minus 25. You can buy a checker anywhere, any auto parts store. They have the checker with 5 beads. 5 beads floating is 25 below, usually. Another thing that I recommend that you do is drain the gas tank completely out. Open the tank, drain all the gas out. I used to believe in keeping your tank full, but anymore, with the gas that we buy, it doesn't last long enough. I mean, your gas is going to go flat before spring. So what we recommend now, drain the tank all the way down and put a half a gallon of high octane fuel, like racing fuel. That's what we use. I'll pour some in right here and let you see. Take this bottle.
Don't pour it in my thermos.
Why not?
Get me
You
going
can
crazy
see
the rest of the day.
There's unmistakable. You can see the difference in racing fuel. This is Torco 110 octane right here.
Looks like washer fluid.
I'm gonna tell you what. You smell that when that tractor's running? It smells awesome, man. It's very important. The things that I'm pointing out, I feel like are very, very important things. Put about a half a gallon in your tank and run that tractor until you smell that Torco or that racing fuel.
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes at least till you smell it going out the exhaust, and then you know it's in the system. Yeah, this stuff is from 110 to 118 octane. It's $6-7 a gallon, but you're only going to use a half a gallon, so it's definitely worth you doing that. So that's one thing. You want to make sure it gets all in that carburetor, because you do not want to have to constantly be rebuilding your carburetor every time you try to use your tractor. That's very important. Another thing, it's very important. Take your cap off your transmission. Make sure there's no foam inside that transmission. If there is, drain the transmission, put new oil back in there. I'm telling you, if you store this tractor with condensation in that transmission, you can have a problem. Especially if you decide in the middle of the winter and this tractor's sitting outside and you have an emergency use for your tractor, and you go and try and start that thing, your gears can be froze up because water freezes. If you let it sit all winter, water will go to the bottom. We know that. And it will actually separate itself. Water will separate itself from the oil, the transmission fluid. And the water will go to the bottom. I don't recommend just draining the bottom and getting the water out. I recommend draining the whole transmission and starting over. Another thing that I want to point out, always make sure your tractor's in neutral when you start, because any little bit of condensation gets up in that shifter, you won't be able to shift this thing. Turn your fuel off at the fuel cock over there, and then you're good to go. Right here, take your cap off your rear end housing. Make sure you don't have any foam, moisture, condensation, anything down inside that rear end. If you do, drain it out, put new oil in it. And then in the spring, when you take it back out again, you got to check that again. You know, it's maintenance. I mean, it's preventative maintenance is what we call it. When you park these tractors like this, and when you put your, you know, you can rotate this so that it works out this way. Make sure your valve stem is up on top if you have fluid in there. If you have it on the bottom, it's more likely to start leaking. You want to make sure that your 3-point hitch is up all the way. Pull your lever back, store it with it up. You don't want to have it down, because when you start a tractor that's been sitting, usually that 3-point hitch is really slow getting going. If it's up already, then you can put weight on it and push it down, and that'll get it going faster. Another thing, you want to take your battery off and take it inside. You'll get so much more life out of your battery if you don't leave it sitting out. You know, batteries don't necessarily...
Don't just disconnect it, remove it.
Right. Remove the battery and take it inside. I highly recommend that you do that. Next thing is, if you got, like on a classic tractor, if you got a padded seat like this, you want to take that pad off and take it inside, because cold weather will cause these seats to crack. And this thing will, I mean, we're talking about making this tractor last longer and longer. I recommend putting some, like, you know, any good WD-40 or anything like that, put a little coat of that on your steering wheel to keep it from cracking and checking. On your shifter knobs, on here. That's basically what I recommend. On your distributor and your coil and your plug wires, you just want to put some ignition spray on this stuff to give it a coating so the condensation doesn't get in there. And that's basically, make sure you got, you know, the right amount of air pressure in your tires. This is my tractor Bible right here. I mean, you can see in here, it's got, you know, Ellis Chalmers, International, the blues for Ford. You know, we got Farmalls, we got a lot of international stuff. We got Ellis Chalmers. We got all kinds of tractors. We are tractor people, and that's why we work with Steiner, because they are tractor people. They got the stuff that you need. I think I've covered everything that I do to store a tractor. We're down to one last thing. When you store that tractor, look at it right here. If you're going to put it on this gravel like this, which is where we're going to start, it's right here. You want to put yourself some 2x12s in here, down on the ground, back that tractor in, so you don't have those tires in contact with that ground, because moisture comes up and it'll get on those tires.
And chalk the tires if you're going to have the tractor in neutral.
Yep. You're going to leave your tractor in neutral, so you want to make sure that you cut yourself a board on an angle and chalk those tires so that you don't ever forget when you get ready to start that tractor. So those are the things that I recommend that you do to a tractor. And this tractor's a 1957. We've had this thing in our family forever. And you can see that it's still good to go, because we do the things that we're talking about. And if you get yourself a Steiner catalog, you'll be able to look through that thing and identify the parts, anything, you know, the stencils, the logos, the seat covers, everything you see on this tractor. Steiner has that in the catalog. So I recommend that you get yourself a Steiner catalog, get yourself a classic tractor if you don't have one, and then you'll be a happy camper.